Hello everyone, it is Alphaburst and welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Go. And before we get started with this video, I want to give a massive shout out to Prototype for this video idea. Would have not been possible without you, buddy. So go ahead and check out Prototype's channel. Link will be in the video description down below. He basically said this, right? He basically said like, hey, Reverse, I have this really cool idea for a video. I haven't seen it done yet, but I want to see it, and you can do it because you already got every single Pokemon. So I'm like, let's do it. I'm going to be showcasing to you guys what it looks like having every single Pokemon that I currently own next to me as my buddy, because they look crazy. Like, look at this Golem, for example. Aren't you guys curious to know what every single Pokemon looks like? That's exactly what I'm going to showcase to you guys. There will also be a whole bunch of evolutions. So I already went on ahead and popped open my lucky egg, and well, there's a Caterpie here right now. We need to catch this in order to showcase it to you guys. So let me actually show off my catching skills here. I'm going to be using a Raspberry because we don't need to use it anyway, and we're going to be using an Ultra Ball because we don't need to use this either. We're just going to go ahead and catch this, and of course we're going to end up failing. I think this will actually be, we'll go ahead and do the trick here. Now before we move on here, I just want to say thank you guys so much for 180,000 subscribers. Here's a gift card in screen right now, and there will be another one somewhere in the video hidden. You guys need to search for it. So once again, thank you guys so much. The channel is just absolutely blowing up like crazy, and I cannot thank you guys enough for the amazing growth the channel has been having recently. So yeah, let's get started with whatever it is that we're going to be doing here. So, new buddy system went out, and I've already been talking about everything, but to give you guys a quick little recap, the player avatar screen has changed. You can actually see your buddy Pokemon. Every single time you're going to be walking alongside with your buddy, it's going to be generating candy over time. This will also mean that you're going to be getting candy for free. What else do you want, right? Now, the update is not out everywhere yet, so please be patient about that. Let's actually go ahead and reset this one up to another Pokemon. We're just going to be starting from top to bottom here. So over here we got Bulbasaur. And Bulbasaur is bigger than I thought it was. Like, you guys have seen Squirtle and Charmander, right? Bulbasaur over here gets up the upper leg here with this onion above his head, which is kind of crazy to me. And then I saw Squirtle being up against the knees, and the same thing with Charmander, which is really quite confused to me. I never had any idea that Bulbasaur was such a big Pokemon. He's a starter Pokemon, so obviously you're going to be needing 3 kilometers in order to get this one. Pikachu is only 1 kilometer, but yeah, that is Bulbasaur here. Now, we're actually going to be moving on to Wartortle first, because that is the second phase here. So this is Wartortle, and take a look at this. So Squirtle's like up to the knees, right? I cannot showcase that to you guys, but a Wartortle is up to like my hips. And that's pretty cool. Like, it's pretty cool how much bigger the Pokemon gets. Like, Wartortle has a big head as well. Like, look at the trainer avatar head. And then take a look at Wartortle. It's a pretty big hat, but then again, it is a turtle. It's like, you know, it's kind of the way it is. I don't know. Bad example. Now, the next thing, you guys are going to be really surprised with this. So, first up, I'm going to show you guys the evolved version of Wartortle, Blastoise. Now, Blastoise is a giant, but he's a little bit smaller than I thought he would be. Like, look at this. I thought that Blastoise was definitely going to be bigger than my trainer avatar, but apparently I was wrong about that. Like, he's actually a little bit smaller than I thought he was going to be, which is kind of crazy. But then again, we have no idea. Let's just assume that that the trainer is going to be like 6 foot or like 180 centimeters. Like 6 foot is like 180 centimeters, I think, about. So that way you guys know what I'm talking about here. So that was Blastoise. Next up, we got Venusaur. Now Venusaur, guys, look at this. Venusaur is ginormous. This is actually really crazy. Like the palm tree that got on top of his head is just like bigger than the trainer, and look how big he is. He's like a dinosaur toad or something like that. It's really crazy when you think about it. This thing is actually huge. I honestly had no idea. I always thought that Venusaur was the smallest one out of the 3. And next up we got Charizard. Now I think Charizard is going to be smaller than Venusaur a little bit there, but let's go ahead and take a look. And Charizard is actually kind of leaning forwards. So I would say, like, if he were to be the entire size, he'd be a little bit taller than the trainer, and also a little bit bigger. So yeah, I would say Venusaur is the biggest, and then Charizard, and then Blastoise is so small in comparison. It's crazy. Honestly, didn't expect that. Okay, next up we got Caterpie here. So Caterpie is obviously going to be the smallest one, or one of the smallest. Oh, it's actually on top of the neck. That is really cool. I have a little bit more to talk to you guys about when it comes down to this, but this is really cool. I didn't know that. it's actually as big as the hat here, and the hat is pretty small. So what we're gonna do, we're actually going to be going ahead and evolve this Caterpie into a Metapod, because I have the candy to do this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and evolve this one and see how much bigger it is. I kind of imagine, I don't know if Metapod, is it gonna be on the neck as well? And if so, how much taller is it going to be? Because Caterpie is like as big as the head, right? So I think Metapod, I think half of the body of Metapod is like the size of Caterpie. So I think Metapod is like twice as big as Caterpie is. But there's only one way to find out here, of course. So gonna, oh, actually Weedle. That's why I popped the instance, of course. Okay, so Metapod's actually standing, but it's kind of like standing on half the size here. So it seems that Metapod's like 3 to 4 times the size as a Caterpie, and that's crazy. I honestly did not expect that. That is honestly crazy. I don't have the candy to show off Butterfree here, but I am going to be catching this Weedle because I don't have a Weedle to showcase to you guys. So I think that the Weedle as well is going to be like on the neck here. I'm using an Ultra Ball because I have so many. If you guys are curious, my bike was fixed. So I've been, you know, cruising around town. I've been getting so many Great Balls and Ultra Balls, and actually throwing away some Pokeballs on the road. So yeah, there's that. Okay, so we managed to catch this Weedle right now. I want to have enough candy here. Actually, I do have enough candy to evolve it once, so I'm going to go ahead and do that very soon. First up, let me actually place it next to my trainer here. So I need to go back to the screen. I kind of wish you were able to do this a little bit easier, like include your buddy, like actually from the screen itself. But I'm just going to be selecting the Weedle here. So Weedle seems to be just as big as... It's even smaller than Caterpie. It's just that the needle is kind of sticking out here. Now I'm really curious to find out how big it's going to be in comparison when it comes down to Kakuna. Kakuna. We call Kakuna the dead Pikachu because it's kind of creepy. Like half of the time if I see a Kakuna, I'm like, hey Pikachu. Oh wait, no, it's Kakuna, you know, that kind of thing. Because Kakuna is like kind of the same color scheme-ish. If you're looking from a distance, like kind of zoomed out, it's kind of just like a Pikachu. I don't know if it makes any sense what I'm saying here. But yeah, anyway. Gonna be moving on here. Kakuna is a little bit smaller than Metapod. It may not look like this, but Kakuna is kind of standing up still here. So that's very interesting. Kakuna, definitely an interesting Pokemon for sure. We're gonna be moving on to the next one here. The next one, I think is gonna be Pidgey. I think the next one's going to be Pidgey right here. I don't know if I got the candy, but Pidgey over here. Pidgey's the size of a Caterpie? I would have never guessed that. That is crazy. I seriously thought that Pidgey was bigger than that. I really thought Pidgey was bigger than that. That's really cool, actually. Can I... All progression will be lost. Actually, no. Is there... Yeah. Oh, I don't have the candy to actually do that. Okay, that's unfortunate. So, we're gonna be moving on to the next one. Ekans. Ekans over here. How big is Ekans gonna be? So, Ekans kind of rolling on the ground here, right? So, maybe it's gonna be smaller... No, Ekans is actually... Ooh, if Ekans were to be standing up, he'd be as tall as the trainer would be. Or at least coming to the ab, I don't know, like to his chest. I think that's how tall Ekans would be. Now, I have the evolved version of Ekans here, which is going to be Arbok. So, actually, I can just swap it like this. And Arbok over here, I'm really curious how big this one's going to be, because it's actually quite a bit bigger by the looks of it. And whoa, holy cow, it's actually just as big. Imagine Arbok standing up entirely. Like, this is about half the size of Arbok, so it can be going up to like 4 meters if it were to be standing up all the way up there. That's really surprising. I honestly did not know. Oh, you can actually turn it around? That's really cool. Look at this. I honestly did not know that Arbok was that big. I honestly don't know. The screen is not really responding properly because the phone is sort of overheating. But you can actually get some sort of a comparison. I didn't know you could actually twist and turn it around. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Pikachu. So Pikachu's pretty interesting. Pikachu is kind of small here. But there's actually a little Easter egg that I want to share with you guys. So Pikachu is a Pokemon that you need 1 kilometer for, because it's part of a 2-kilometer egg. Now, Pikachu is a starter, but he's like a secret starter, so he's not an original starter. But the cool thing is with Pikachu, if you actually, I have a photo of this, if you walk 10 kilometers with Pikachu, it will actually appear on your shoulder, just like the Caterpie and the Weedle did. So try it out for yourself. It's actually really cool to have a Pikachu on your shoulder here. Now, I do have a Raichu at the same time as well, so I'm just going to go ahead and grab Raichu real quick. And Raichu's going to be right here. And I'm curious, like, I'm curious how big Raichu is. I don't expect Raichu to be a lot bigger. Yeah, just like I thought, the tail is really tall though. Like the tail is kind of covering, like it's just as tall as Raichu actually is, which is cool. So I think Raichu is kind of an underrated Pokemon, because so many people actually love Pikachu. There's another Weedle there, we're not gonna catch that. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The next one I think is going to be Sandslash. So I expect Sandslash to be a little bit bigger than Raichu, I guess. Yeah, it actually looks like quite a bit bigger. I'm not sure. I think... Oh, Raichu is actually a little bit bigger. It's just a little bit bigger. Raichu's coming to like the middle part of the body there, up to the the hips and such, which is cool. Like I really like Sandslash. Sandslash is a cool Pokemon. Look at those fans. Just, you know, he's just chilling around. You know, he's chilling around, which is kind of cool. Okay, we're gonna be moving on here. So that was Sandslash, and the next one is going to be Nidoran. So I can actually make a Nidoqueen. So I'm gonna go out and do that actually, just for you guys, just for this video. Like I really want to showcase. So Nidoqueen is just as big as a Pikachu basically, and we're gonna evolve this one into the Nidorina. And I honestly don't know how big Nidorina is. I think that's going to be pretty interesting. And so far the biggest surprise must have been how small Blastoise is in comparison to Venusaur. Especially Venusaur, that's a ginormous Pokemon for sure. Okay, Nidorina over here. I think this one is just as big as a Raichu actually. Like I think it's just as big as... Oh. No, it's actually just like a Raichu. It's like a Raichu. But then, of course, we're gonna evolve her again. Now, I don't care at this point right now if the IVs are great or not. I do have an 88% over here, but I really just wanted to showcase the evolves here, the evolutions, and what they look like next to the body. So I'm showcasing as many Pokemon. I'm having something in my eye here, so you have to excuse me for that. Sorry if I'm getting teary-eyed here because there's something in my eye. I cannot quite get it off here. This is the most annoying thing during recording. Okay, so that is Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen is a big Pokemon, right? Is it? No. Surprisingly, not at all. Okay. I'm pretty... She's really small. She's really tiny. She's like a tiny chubby grandma. I cannot put it any other way. It's like a tiny chubby grandma. I'm sorry, grandma. It's like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't mean it. So, Nidoran male version is smaller than Nidoran female version, which is quite interesting. But then during Nidorino, it obviously gets a little bit bigger. And then during Nidoking, it's gonna be, I would say it's gonna be as big as the trainer. But after we see Nidoqueen, I think it's gonna be maybe a little bit smaller. I don't know. I honestly got no idea at this point right now. Okay, Nidorino. I always thought that Nidorino is kind of a cool version. We call Nidorino the shiny Rhyhorn, because it has the horn and everything, and it's just purple, so it's a different color, so we call him Shiny Rhyhorn. So Shiny Rhyhorn over here is actually quite a bit bigger than it's kind of standing, you know, to the front there, so you cannot really see how big a Nidorino is. But this kind of gives me hope for Nidoking. So let's go ahead and go ahead and evolve this Nidoran into a Nidoking. And honestly, I haven't been looking at the moves, or I think that Nidoqueen got or Nido? Some people say Nido, I was just gonna say Nido. So Nidoqueen actually got Earthquake, which was a good one, and Poison Jab. I think that is one of the better movesets. And over here in Nidoking, I always thought that the ears look kind of weird in Pokemon Go in comparison to the actual Pokemon series. I don't know about you guys. If you guys know anything or anything like that, make sure you let me know in the comment section down below. Fury Cutter and Mega Horn, I think this is the worst moveset, but that's completely fine. And over... Okay. That is really disappointing. I thought Nidoking was more badass than it actually is. Like, look at those Mickey Mouse ears. It's crazy. Like, I got nothing against Mickey Mouse ears. I mean, I love Disney and everything, but yeah, that's just my personal opinion right here. Okay, so all progression will be lost. That is Nidoking. A little bit disappointing about the moveset. Vileplume. Now, this Pokemon is crazy big. Like, look at this. If you see Vileplume on screen, it literally looks like a flower. Or you can watch day 1 of my Road to Level 34 quest to level 34 vlogs. I made those vlogs. On day number 1 it was raining, and someone made a comment, I don't recall which one it was. He said, like, with the umbrella in your neck, you look like a Vileplume turning around. He was right about that. I will never forget about that. Okay, so that was Vileplume here. This is probably really small. Next to we got Mankey. Now I can actually make a Primeape, so that's going to be pretty interesting. I think that Mankey is just as big as Primeape, but I might be wrong there. Alright, so we're back once again and we're catching a mystery Pokemon. This Pokemon was actually a Pokemon we weren't able to showcase before, so I'm actually happy that I caught a Spearow, because now we're actually able to see what it's like to have a Spearow next to us. I think I don't think it's as small as a Pidgey is, honestly, but I kind of wanted to move on to the next one. So real quickly here, Spearow is a smaller Pokemon for sure, and wow, is Spearow really that small? It's like Caterpie is bigger than Spearow. What? That is, I honestly didn't expect that. Have you guys seen the original series? There's no way that Spearow is this small. What is up with that? Okay, Mankey time. That's really crazy. Spearow's to me the biggest surprise, I feel. Okay, Mankey. He's actually a little bit smaller than I thought him to be. Is Primeape gonna be that much bigger, or is Primeape really that small? I don't know. Like, I'm kind of like comparing it to the original series, right? So that's just kind of my threshold here. It's kind of what I'm working with. Okay, so gonna be evolving it into a Primeape, and we're just actually going to see what it looks like. I'm really curious about Primeape now, because Mankey is kind of coming up to like the knees. I kind of like Mankey. He's always like dancing around. No matter what kind of beat he's throwing, he will always be dancing to the beat. It's what we know here. Same thing with Primeape. Look at those moves. Like, I don't know. Okay, so this is Primeape. He's vigorously dancing, and oh, look at that increase. I honestly did not expect that. I thought it was like a tiny bit bigger, but Primeape, dude, that thing looks upset. Like that thing looks like a Voltorb on steroids, if you ask me. Like, look at those eyes. The eyes are the exact same as a Voltorb. Like, I don't got a Voltorb, but it's the exact same as a Voltorb. That is really cool. I like Primeape. Primeape is, I feel, kind of an underrated Pokemon, if anything. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. So after Primeape, we got Abra. Now I can evolve this into an Alakazam, so that's pretty cool, and this is a good IV as well. So Abra floating around, he's bigger than I expected. I expected Abra to be a little bit smaller. Actually, I didn't, because I've been watching the anime. So look at the amount of Abra candy that I got. Like, I've been waiting for a good Abra. I think this one is 96% IV. You guys can go out and check that by yourself. Or it was like 93. I'm not sure. It was at least above 90%. And I'm very happy with that. I thought for the longest time I wasn't able to find any 90% plus IV Pokemon. So Kadabra, I expect Kadabra to be a little bit bigger here, right? So, okay, yeah, this is kind of what I expect Kadabra to be at. Like, this is kind of what I expect from Kadabra, which is not bad. It's not a bad thing. Now, I would honestly think that Alakazam would be smaller than Kadabra, or like the same size. Like, I honestly think it would be the same size. So, we're about to find out. Maybe it's gonna be a little bit bigger. But I always thought that, like, Alakazam kind of looked the same as the final evolution of Kadabra, which is kind of cool in essence, like in some sense. Like, look at this. So, I'm guessing it might just be a tiny bit bigger. Like, it's really like Kadabra and Alakazam are like brothers from each other, not evolves. But here we go. Okay, so, oh! Alakazam is actually quite significantly bigger. It's actually almost as big as the trainer. Oh, if it's like breathing in, it's just as big as the trainer. Alakazam is beast. Like, I really hate the fact how weak Alakazam and Gengar are in Pokemon Go. I really just hate that. Like, Alakazam and Gengar, those were my go-to Pokemon. And whenever I heard how weak they are in this game, because all of their moves barely do anything, I just really got sad because of it. But anyway, we got our Alakazam, which is pretty cool. We're gonna be moving on to Machamp. Now, I think Machamp is a big Pokemon. I'm not sure. Yeah, just as I expected, it's a little bit smaller than the trainer. I expected it to be like as big as the trainer. It's a great bodyguard. Look at that thing. It looks like it can beat up things. Like, it's crazy. It reminds me, it's actually Goro from Mortal Kombat. But yeah, that is Machamp. Gonna be moving on to, I think, the Weepinbell. So Weepinbell up first. I always thought Weepinbell to be a big Pokemon, right? But Victreebel is huge. But yeah, Weepinbell actually floating around. Pretty interesting stuff, but it's kind of as big as I imagined it to be. Imagine Luke walking in the dark and suddenly a Weepinbell would appear in front of your face. You'd be scared. You'd be scared. Like, guys, you would be so scared of this thing. It's pretty crazy. And then next up we got Victory Bell. Now Victory Bell is a big Pokemon, guys. Victory Bell is a huge... This thing is totally a man-eater. Man-eating plant. It's crazy. Man. Victory Bell is a great Pokemon, by the way. Definitely encourage you guys to go for it. Caterpie, Wild Caterpie over here. Okay. So that is Victory Bell. I'm gonna be moving on to the next one. Let's see if we can get surprised here. Geodude. Geodude. This is probably like my favorite Pokemon right now. Geodude is actually bigger than I thought it would be. That is crazy. I thought Geodude would be as tiny as a like not as tiny as a Spearow, but like a little bit bigger. But Geodude is actually quite huge, which, you know, I do not mind. Now, we've already seen Golem, but I'm going to showcase it to you guys anyway, because Golem is the Pokemon that I'm currently using when it comes down to gathering candy around. Now, Golem is a big Pokemon. Look at this. Look at this thing. This is actually pretty huge. Once again, 1 kilometer per candy for this giant beast. Like, it's totally worth it. I've walked 12.2 kilometers with this thing since release of the buddy update. Like yesterday during the live stream I walked 3, today I walked 9 because my bike was up and running again. So making some kilometers, you know, it's actually great. I'm happy, you know, with doing the way I do things right now. Okay, next up we got Ponyta. So Ponyta over here, it's actually really a pony. I always imagined Ponyta to be bigger than it actually is right now. So Rapidash obviously is going to be bigger. Now, I have the ability to make a Rapidash here. So that is exactly what I'm going to be doing. I can actually evolve both Ponytas into Rapidashes, but I'm only going to be doing it once. So let's see how big this horse is going to be right now. Because Rapidash obviously is going to be the full horse here. But by the evolution, it's like just as big. It's actually a unicorn. I never knew. I never knew that Rapidash was a unicorn. Okay, that's crazy. So, holy cow! That increase though. Wow! That's like 2.5 times bigger than Ponyta. That is ridiculous. I did not expect Ponyta to be that small in comparison, man. Like, wow. Like, some of these Pokeballs are really surprising. Slowbro. Like, Slowbro, I always thought it was like a smaller Pokemon because it was just a Slowpoke with like a shelter at his tail or something. But Slowbro is actually a huge Pokemon. It's actually big, man. Like, it's like the teddy bear of Pokemon. You can actually hug the Pokemon and you would feel good about yourself. Like, it's like a little Care Bear stare that he has for you. He's like completely oblivious, but you know, he just loves everything. And the way Shelter gets bigger too, man, that's crazy. I wish I had a Slowpoke to kind of show off Slowpoke as well, but I don't have that. So we're gonna go to Doduo, but it's actually a Dodrio. I just couldn't be bothered to change the name. Dodrio is it's kind of what you expect from a Dodrio. It's kind of a big ostrich with 3 heads. It's kind of a crazy Pokemon. I don't think it's really that interesting, to be honest. Dodrio is kind of disappointing in the Pokemon series as a whole. Kind of wish that some of these Pokemon that are actually kind of cool, you know, would get some more love. Okay, Seal. I don't know if I can make a Dugong. That'd be kind of cool because I know Seals are really small. Seal's really small. It's like tiny. Wow, that is crazy. I did not know that. Can we make a Dugong? We cannot. We just recently made a Dugong. Okay, that's interesting. So Seal's really tiny. I think Dugong is much bigger though. Next up we got Gloister. Now, you know, you guys saw the size of the shelter on the tail of Slowbro, right? Now Gloister's gotta be bigger than that. And holy cow, it's so... Wow, that's crazy. I'm not gonna make any remarks because everything that I'll say is just gonna sound really, really strange. So you guys could go ahead and do that in the comments if you really desire so. But Gloister's big. Still, Gloister's crazy. Next up we got Gengar. Gengar is undoubtedly my favorite Pokemon in the Pokemon series. Like, look at that evil grin he has. Like, it's actually my background of myself. And let me actually show you guys real quick. You see the Gengar eyes over there? It's crazy. Gengar eyes all around. Love Gengar. I have a Gengar t-shirt, you know. If you guys make any... If I'm gonna make up a PO box if I reach 200,000 subscribers, if you make any Gengar art, that'd be amazing. I even have Gengar in my banner on YouTube, you know, as the main thing here. Gengar is a big Pokemon. I didn't know. I thought he was coming up to the hips, you know. Gengar is huge. I didn't expect that at all. Whoa, you creepy smiley, man. Like, Gengar is just cool, man. Gengar is just so cool. I love Gengar. Gengar's awesome. Okay, we're gonna be moving on to Hypno. Now, Hypno is, I just don't know. I think he's really small, honestly. Like, I think he's small, coming up to the hips or something like that. Oh, that thing has a... Dude, the trainer's head can fit 6 times in the head of Hypno. That is actually really crazy. If Hypno were to be standing up, like, perfectly still, he'd be as tall as the trainer over here. Which is kind of crazy when you think about it. I honestly... Wow, I did not think Hypno would be that big. Yeah, Hypno. I don't know. Electrode. I know for a fact that Electrode is a big Pokemon. Like, this is a big, like, reversed Pokeball right here. Like, look at this thing. Like, look at that. He's just up to, like, self-destructing, man. I'm gonna quickly swap out here because I'm just pissing my pants here. I'm getting afraid to get blown up here by this Electrode. Okay, next up we got Exeggutor. A lot of people say Exeggutor, or so many people have. Like, have you seen the evolved version or the Alola version in Pokemon Sun and Moon? It is gonna turn into a dragon type. Like, that's the wildest thing to me. But anyway, Exeggutor is a big Pokemon. Something that I am not, you know, Exeggutor is really small. Every single time, like, one of my friends on the WhatsApp group is saying, like, I want to find an Exeggutor. I just make photos of eggs in real life and just like, here, it's some Exeggutor. Anyway, just a little fun fact here. I'm trying to talk my time full at the same time, you know, just not make it, like, mundane that much. Like, hey, this Pokemon's amazing, this Pokemon's crazy. You know, just show the other stuff as well. Marowak. I expect Marowak to be a smaller Pokemon. Undoubtedly so. Cubone and Marowak story is the saddest story in Pokemon ever. Like, that's what I feel. Drifloon is kind of crazy. Like, it's eating children that are lost. You should read the Pokédex entry of Drifloon. I think it was Chugga Conroy who pointed that out in his Pokemon Platinum series. Like, yes, I watched Chugga. Chugga's one of the coolest guys that I know of. Anyway, Marowak is just as big as I expected to be. Like, coming up to the hips. Like, I like Marowak. I think Marowak is underappreciated. A lot of people like Cubone. I like Marowak more. I think Marowak is a cool Pokemon. Or Marowak. Anyway, we're gonna be moving on here. Weezing. I don't know. Whoa. No, what? No, dude. Okay, I thought it was ginormous by the looks of this, right? But then it turns out to be this cute little orb of orbs attached together. Like, I don't know. It's like, it looks like a bacteria. Like, you got coughing. If every single time I catch a coughing, I'm like, I caught it. But that Weezing over here, you're sneezing. I don't know. That was a fake sneeze, by the way. Okay, that was Weezing. A lot of people are still looking for Weezing. Make coughing your main Pokemon in the States if you have trouble finding him. We're gonna be moving on to Rhyhorn. Now, I expect Rhyhorn to be a massive Pokemon, right? And that is a metallic pony. That reminds me of the little rhino in Donkey Kong Country. Like, I'm old school like this. This reminds me of the rhino of Donkey Kong Country. This is a shiny Nidorino, by the way. Did you guys know? I'm making a reverse joke. You guys know what I'm saying here? So yeah, that's Nidorino. Nidorino's really small for what I thought he was. Like, he looks pretty huge by the looks of it. But of course, we got a Rhydon. Do I? Yeah, I got a Rhydon. Now, this has got to be a big Pokemon, right? It's got to be bigger than Rhyhorn. Holy cow! That is so huge. He has 2 horns though. I never noticed that. He has like one on top of his head. That's actually his nose. No, his nose is under the drill. That's really funny. He has like 3 noses. Okay, that's funny. He's the Triceratops. I don't know. Triceratops. No, I don't know. I'm just making stuff up on the fly here. We're gonna be moving on. We're getting close to the end here, guys. Next up we got Chansey. Chansey, I think it's a big Pokemon, right? If we watch the series, is it big? No, I don't think it's bigger than a trainer. No, it's exactly actually what you expect from a Chansey. It's a big Pokemon, comes a little bit to the tummy, you know. It is what it is. Chansey's Chansey. Blissey's gonna be cool, you know. I'm gonna be doing the same thing with this after Gen 2 is out, of course. If you guys would like, you know, if you guys like what you see, make sure you hit the like right now. It really helps supporting the channel. And it really tells me that you guys like what you see here. Kingdra. I'm prepared for Kingdra, so that's why I called him Kingdra. And with the IV behind it. That is not a hack. A lot of people saying it. I'm always putting it behind it manually, so don't give me a hard time. I think Seadra is actually smaller Pokemon. No, it's big. It's actually kind of big. But I would think that Horsey's just like as small as a Pidgey in this particular case. Seadra is huge. That's probably because I called it Kingdra. This is bigger. I'm really excited to see how Kingdra is. I think Kingdra is gonna be huge now. But Seadra is actually bigger than I thought it was gonna be. I'm surprised. I'm really surprised that Seadra is that big. Like, I've seen him in the Pokemon series, right? At the Orange Islands, like whenever Ash was doing these weird gym battles, like I've seen Seadra, and that Seadra is smaller than what we saw just now. Next up, we got Mr. Mime. I called him. It's like making glasses, like cleaning the glasses. It's a Dutch joke. You guys don't get it. Everybody everybody who's Dutch is gonna laugh their ass off with these names. Anyway, Mr. Mime here is creating a glass here. What do you expect from them? I kind of like, he's dancing. He's so cute, Mr. Mime. I'm happy he's our European exclusive. You can get it from 10km eggs otherwise. You know, the other ones are 5, so I guess it will have to do. You're not happy if you got Mr. Mime from a 10km egg. Let me just get that one out straight. Okay, we're gonna be moving on here. We're getting closer to the end, guys. Scyther. Now, you know, I have mixed feelings about Scyther. I think Scyther is a big Pokemon. I think it's bigger than the trainer, but I'm not sure. Scissor's gotta be ginormous then, though, but let's take a look. Okay, so it is. Scyther is actually a big Pokemon. Okay, I was not wrong here. I'm just so curious about Scizor. Scizor is gonna be insane. Man, I'm saving up Scythers as well. I just don't have the candy too much, but Scyther is one of my favorite Pokemons as well, just like Gengar. Scyther is probably number 4. Okay, next up we got Electabuzz. That's literally what he does in the series. That's literally what he does in the series. It's insane. Anyway, Electabuzz is really tiny. I expected him to be at least up here. Like, at least. He's really small. No. Okay, anyway, we're gonna be moving on here. Electabuzz is really small. That surprises me. It's really small. Magikarp. Okay, this is gonna be funny. Magikarp's pretty big. It's a big fish. It apparently is the strongest Pokemon in history, and that's not being sarcastic. If you watched Vsauce, you would know that Magikarp can jump higher than, like, it can jump over mountains. Like, this fish is a mean meat. Like, his splash attacks, man. It's doing so much damage. It's showing 0 because it needed to be nerfed that hard, right? Okay. That is Magikarp. Next up is Gyarados. Now Gyarados is gonna be covering the entire screen because Shenron, the shiny Shenron, is just that big. That's Gyarados basically. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. So Eternal Dragon. I wish to have all living Pokemon so I can show them to you guys. That's a Dragon Ball Z reference, by the way. This Pokemon is just like, they only show 1/10 of his entire body here, right? And that is already gigantic. Crazy. Gyarados is really cool. I like Gyarados. That's why I have so many of them. I've been saving up. Lapras is gonna be big as well, guys. Lapras is gonna be huge. He doesn't look that... Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Well, I imagine Lapras to be a little bit bigger than this, to be honest. To be completely honest with you guys. No, actually, yeah. In the series, he was a little bit bigger than this because Ash is 10. This trainer is like 16-ish. You know what? Let's move on to the next one. You know, I'm talking too much here. You guys undoubtedly gonna say you talk too much. Okay, next up we got Eevee. I expect Eevee to be as small that it can fit on the shoulder here, but that might just be me. So, yeah, this is what I'm... Eevee is as small as a Spearow... Eevee's as small as a Caterpie. Let that sink in. Eevee is as small as a Caterpie. There's something wrong there. There's something completely wrong there. And the size that Eevee evolves into is just not humanly possible. I feel it's not... Let's just compare. Vaporeon first. Vaporeon, pretty big Pokemon. Look at the size. Like Eevee increases to like 10 times his size. Mind blown. It's absolutely crazy, actually. Gonna be moving on here. Next up we got, I think we got Jolteon. I have one Jolteon here. So, basically the same size. Really nothing has changed. And I think Flareon's gonna be the tallest out of the three because of the flame. Like the Goku hair on top here. So do I got a Flareon? I'm pretty sure I got a Flareon. There we go. Oh man, that tail is just, it's a tree. That's crazy. A bush, a fiery bush. Over there. So yeah, the actual hair of Flareon, the tail is coming to the shoulders, which is just really kind of awkward. I would not want to be a Flareon. Having to carry that tail, it's not really convenient. It's not really convenient. It's like a broom, if anything. Yeah, it's like a broom. Okay, we are getting closer to the end here. We got Porygon. I don't know how big Porygon is gonna be. Honestly, got no idea. Porygon is pretty big. I'm really surprised by this. I thought Porygon was gonna be way smaller, like Jolteon level small, but Porygon is a big Cyberborg. Is it not an android, right? I don't know. I wonder how big Porygon 2 is gonna be then. That's pretty crazy. Porygon's big. Next up we got Mr. Omastar. So I still have it called Omanite because it was for the Pokédex. I think it's small. Coming into the knees or something like that. And I don't know, I cannot really, it's kind of open to interpretation, right? Yeah, it's kind of interesting here. Omastar here, guys. We're getting really close. At the final, of course, we're going to be seeing Dragonite, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have seen already, so that's why I save it to last. Kabutops. I don't got a Kabuto right now. I think Kabutops is pretty big. And yeah, it's kind of right. It kind of looks like a stingray as well. The head of Kabutops. Yeah, Kabutops pretty big. Pretty scary at the same time as well. Pretty intimidating. Just like Voltorb. Voltorb is the most intimidating Pokemon when it comes down to looks. When it comes down to scary face and stuff. Okay. Then we got Snorlax, of course. We've already seen Snorlax before. Snorlax is just huge. Snorlax is bigger than Lapras. Snorlax is bigger than Lapras. Pretty interesting, and last but not least, we got Dragonite. So, I don't got a Dratini or Dragonair. Dragonair is a tall Pokemon, by the way. I've seen it. Okay. Dragonite. Oh boy. Well, just what you expect from Dragonite, right? Dragonite, perfect IV. Guys, that's gonna be doing it for this video. I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry if this video is long. I just hope that you guys enjoyed showcasing all the buddy Pokemon that I got. I think we did a great job. Of course, I don't have every single Pokemon. You guys can just watch them right here. But yeah, it's just, it's kind of interesting. I still need to showcase an Arcanine. I think Arcanine's a big Pokemon. Poliwrath is going to be interesting as well. I'm not going to be doing this video again because it's all open to, you guys can do that for yourself. I just kind of wanted to showcase some Pokemon you guys might have not have yourself. So I hope that you guys enjoyed. Tried out the Pikachu trick. 10 kilometers walk that far and it will appear on your shoulder. But yeah, that means I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. As always, be sure to check out the links in the video description down below if you want to know more about the buddy Pokemon, and be sure to tune in the interview that I'll be doing a little bit later today on the 13th of September in the evening in the Netherlands. But yeah, that being said, this is Reverse for Pokemon Go. I'm gonna be signing off and I'll see you guys in the next one.